This is a piece of chrome rod from a hydraulic ram. I'm going to take a deep cut to get under the hard surface, hopefully. That's what you don't want in a chip. 6 foot long. Okay, that's 1.5 inches deep, that is. It's more than I need, really. That's at the end of it now. Okay. Pretty impressive drill, that. I like that. Very good. I don't know if you can see the chuck there, but I've parted off that piece that I was working on. Here it is. Problem is, it's just a tiny bit looser than I wanted. The idea is that this will go in there and then somehow they'll all get welded together. Yeah, you can see it's sloppy though, it's crap, isn't it? Okay, bad. I'll have another go at it. You know, you've got to learn how to do it, haven't you? Well, I've just had another go at it. Let's see what it's like. I went in a tiny bit and then tried it, and it seemed okay, so I carried on. Oh, that's going to be like a press fit. That is. That's going to be like a press fit, which would probably be good actually. I'm not going to risk doing a spring cut. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to press it in while this is still warm. Just get it pressed in. Back in a sec. And I'll deal with it all later. There it is, pressed in. What I'll do now is I'll hold this on the shaft and part this off, and then I'll work out how I'm going to do the welding. That's good. Hey, how about that then? I'm quite pleased about that. I've had a lot of trouble with parting off, but that seemed to work okay. Yeah, great. I've got to skim that outer diameter now just to fit inside the flange. But I think I'll do that tomorrow. It's quite late now, and I need to approach that with a fresh mind. So hello. I've been looking at this adaptation again, and I got an idea that, you know, this is going to go inside the companion flange. The companion flange is going to get turned down a bit. That will be welded around there, and then this will get pressed into the companion flange, and the companion flange will be kind of turned back so I can get another weld around here. But what I was thinking about is I need to be able to fit this companion flange, you know, when all this is welded to it. onto here. Now this has a nut that goes on. So you can imagine if that nut has to go on there, you have to put a socket on it. You can't get a socket down that hole, right? So what I intend to do is cut this off and drill and tap a hole. In other words, like an early Ford. Like an early Ford shaft has that hole there. Now that hole in that early Ford shaft is 3/8 UNF. This is 3/4 inch UNF. So I thought, I wonder if this needs more clamping than an early Ford. So I thought, okay. So I looked at this and I noticed that this this socket will go down it, and that fits a 1/2 inch bolt. So I thought, okay, I'll drill and tap it 1/2 inch. And then I realised, hang on a minute, when this is assembled up and that bit's on there, whoops, and that piece is on there, you've got to get down there to do it up. So that won't go, but this one will. This socket will go. This is like a spark plug socket with a 16mm hex, but 16mm is the same as 5/8, and this is a 7/16 UNF bolt. So I'm thinking, well, if the early Ford is 3/8, a 7/16 ought to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that off, then drill and tap 7/16 UNF. Sometimes there's a time and place for hand tools, you know what I mean? Well, assuming that I can successfully put a thread in it, that's good. If not, that's just scrap the job. Anyway, never mind. Okay. Okay, good. I haven't put it all the way in, but I thought I'd stop and you know, clean the threads. Like I say, this is a one-off. I don't want to mess it up. that is now drilled and tapped. 7/16 UNF, and I've got an Allen. I've ordered a single Allen bolt. Would you believe? Because you just can't go to a hardware store here and buy UNF, UNC. So I've ordered an Allen bolt, but I might try and do it with a conventional bolt. I don't know if you kind of noticed what I did, but you didn't see me, but I trued all this up with a dial gauge, and I drilled in from the existing centre, so that the hole was guided by the original centre. I thought it better to do that than part it off or cut it off and then try and drill a new centre. I thought it just might be a little bit more accurate. Nice job. Okay, I think that turned out well. It's gone from that to that, so that the UJ can be fitted down the centre of the UJ like they do on a Ford. Okay, righto. Good little job that. Let's call it good at that for the video then, and let's you know, I'll carry on and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Just coming to the end of the bolt holes. Look, I'm turning away the flange, and I've worked my way in 20th at a time, and I've gone all the way through the bolt holes now. I'm just trying to think about what shape I want it. Maybe I'll just take this piece off now. I've got to fit a piece into here, so this could do with being clean really. Just trying to think of the best way to clean that doesn't involve sticking my fingers in it. I've got like a hacksaw blade up the middle of this emery cloth. Yeah, it's not too bad. A little bit rough, but it's only going to be a welded up assembly. So, what size is that? That is 2 inches and 1/7. In other words, it's just a rough clearance hole of 2 inches. That is 2 inches and 1/17. About 2 inches and 1/17. So I've got to take roughly 1/10 off that. Okay, so imagine that in there. How am I going to weld it? I wonder if I need to cut it back so I can get a decent weld around there. Okay, you don't need to see me doing that. That's just a bit of turning, so I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. Right, I've turned off the end of it. I'm thinking if the further back I can get this, as long as I have got enough support to keep it all square, I can get a better bead weld around without the flanges being in the way. But first of all, what I want to do is weld around there. I need to get a good weld all the way around there like that. Yeah. So I've got to get a good bead of weld all the way around there. And I've got the option of putting a weld there and a weld there. Then this will get skimmed down, and then that will go in there, and then I can weld all the way around there. Just got to do some welding. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, there's my probably what's the most critical weld of the whole thing. Just went round and rotated it using this. I think that'll be okay. I mean, I could weld around there, but I don't want to distort the shape of the universal joint. I mean, it will probably have shrunk but I hope I can put it on the shaft enough to be able to turn it to skim the OD. I hope it's strong enough. I hope it's strong enough. Okay. Well, what's the worst that can happen? You just break down, don't you? I'll leave that to cool down, because if I put it on the shaft like that, it'll get stuck on the shaft, won't it? Righto. I'll be back in a bit. Guess what? I skimmed too much off. I put this onto the shaft. I had to knock it on because the weld just shrunk it. I skimmed this and it wouldn't go on. I skimmed it, it wouldn't go on. I measured it. I thought I just need to take a little bit off, so I rubbed it with a file and it wouldn't go on. So I just gave another little lick with a file and then it was loose. I just can't seem to hit the exact numbers when I'm trying to get a fit. But nonetheless, it has rather... So I resorted to what I did before, because I want it to be an interference fit, so I can set the depth. Then once the depth is set, I can weld it. So that will go in there, and that will tap onto there, or a gentle press fit. I've done the opposite now. I had a little knurl on it, it wasn't quite tight enough, so I've done it again. It's too tight now, so let's just tap that on there. So what I suppose I can do, I'll leave it at that, and I can clock this now and check that it's running true. Let's just run it and see what it looks like. Hang on. Check for chuck keys and things. See, that's not running true, so that's no good. I just used my John Mills ball bearing tool. That's running nice and true now. It's running true enough for what this universal joint needs to do. Okay, I need to think about this now. I hope, you know, that'll be good enough. There's a fair amount of give in these universal joints. I just hope that that will work okay. I'll get it off the shaft and I'll look at welding it. I decided to give myself a better chance of the welding by turning the outer piece back a bit. So I've gave myself better access in there now. Both ways, to be honest. Okay, I'll go and try and weld it now then. Don't like the look of that. I'm going to skim it off and do it again. Kind of went a bit off track there, look. In fact, I didn't weld the thing at all. Okay, I think I'll just clean it and put a bit more weld on. You know, hey, the bigger the blob, the better the job. I'll probably just skim the whole thing anyway afterwards, but that's alright. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is put a good bead there and a good bead there. I won't put a bead there. I could put a bead there, but I don't think I will. I don't know, maybe I will. I'll put a good bead there and a good bead there, but I'll go and wire brush it first. This vise is really good, you know, having the swivel. I've got to do a bit of a restoration on it, but I've just been using it. I've just been using it at the moment. It's ever so good. I'm thinking if I put a bead there, it'll pull that ear down, so I don't want to do that. Okay, but that'll do, won't it, for the welding video. Let's turn that off now. I'll be back in a bit. Hello. Right, here's the part. Doesn't look too bad, does it? I've kind of skimmed it a bit to get all the lumps off. I think all the welds look pretty, if not pretty, they don't look pretty, Mart. No, they don't look pretty. They look pretty strong, is what I was trying to say. And I think between them, there'll be enough weld there to drive the shaft. Okay, there it is in all its glory. Yeah, it's still quite hot. Okay, I'll get it back in the lathe, put it on the forge shaft and polish this bit here. And then I'll look at boring it out. Okay, righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Looks quite neat really, doesn't it? Well, you know, relatively, for a home brew job. Let's hope this sits in the right place when I set it down on the, you know, on the housing. I'll have to polish this by hand because I can't put it in the lathe now. Okay, back in a bit. There's the joint sitting down on the bearing in the seal. And I don't quite know what has gone wrong, but it's sitting lower than I expected. So at some point it must have got pressed further in than I intended. It's not a massive problem. Can you see that it's below the surface now? It just means I'm going to have to face a little bit off there, which might be a bit of a work holding problem. There's the shaft with the hole, so that goes on there. Like that. Like I say, you can imagine a thick washer and then that bolt and a shake-proof washer, and then just do it up really tight. I think that'll work okay. We're getting there, aren't we, slowly, bit by bit. All these little things, I mean, you know, would that drill and tap? Yeah, it did. It's good, isn't it? Could I do this? Could I get it looking okay? I think it does look okay. And it'll go down a little bit, you see. So I can shorten it. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. I've just I took a skim off that and it wasn't enough, so I've took a bit more off. Okay, there's the joint sitting in there. It's just proud, level to proud. It's kind of, well, it's about level, isn't it? I suppose you'd have to say, but at least it's not behind. I might try and give it another skim just to give it another few thou, 40 thou a millimetre, something like that. Yeah, I'll probably do that, but I'm going to have a break now. I've been out here quite a long time today. But I think overall that's pretty good progress there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good progress in a couple of days. Okay. It looks, to me, that kind of looks viable. The other parts of the UJ will go like that, obviously. Actually, if I make a thick washer for that, it'll have to stay in, won't it? It'll have to go in before I put that on, because I might not be able to get it out. So that's something to remember and bear in mind. The thing is, anytime you do something that isn't standard, it's a complete design and build exercise, isn't it? It's uncharted territory, there's no precedent, and you need to think everything through and, you know, fix things if you get it wrong. That's looking okay, I think that's looking okay. Okay, right, so I've had enough of working in a mess. I'm going to have a break. And maybe even a tidy up, you never know. While there are unanswered questions, you know, about will this work, will that work, what do I need to do to make it work, I don't really want to stop. I just want to keep going. I'll double check that dimension of this thing to the standard Ford thing and get an actual dimension, and then machine it properly to meet that dimension. Okay, righto. You've heard enough of me waffling away. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Okay, that appears to be sitting in about the same relationship as the Ford one, which is up off the surface by approximately the thickness of that ruler there. About like that. Yeah, I need to know how this all goes together now. But in theory, the washer wants to be approximately that thick to use this bolt, which will be okay, won't it? Because it'll bring it kind of up there. I think it's going. Didn't expect it to jam like that. Okay, good, nice one. Well, at last I've managed to successfully part something off. Good. Come out pretty nice actually. That's my special washer for holding that thing on. I've managed to outdo myself. I couldn't actually find that bolt, but luckily I've managed to find another one exactly the same. Do you know something? I reckon that one's shorter. Anyway, this one would work. So if I can find that other bolt, it's a touch longer than this one, but even so, this one's got plenty of thread sticking out, so that would go in there like that. 5/8 socket, that socket would go down through and do it up. It's actually magnetic, that, and that would be on there. And that goes down through there. Change hands. That one goes down through there. And we'll do it with that socket, which is small enough to go down the middle of there. So that's the end of that little sub job. So I'm quite pleased with that. It's come out well, that has. 2 days work there. This was yesterday, and then this was today. Custom washer, tough steel. That'll work pretty well, I think. That parting off tool worked alright. Just a few thou clearance, about 5 thou clearance there. And it lines up with the thread and starts and winds in okay without binding, so that's good. In theory I should be able to find that other bolt, but it doesn't matter, that one would do equally as well. Okay, righto, I'm going to leave it at that, because I need to work out at what point I can put these back together and back on there. I'm going to leave it at this because I've broke the back of the job, and I've done all the feasibility studies of all the things that needed a feasibility study. The only thing I haven't done is the rear mount, but I'll have to sort of cross that bridge when I come to it. That's been an interesting little exercise, all this turning and welding, trying to get sizes and fits. And this was an interesting exercise as well, turning, welding, turning. Righto, thanks for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.